Hi, my name is Jordan, and welcome to another tech channel on YouTube. This channel is brand new to YouTube, and so my goal for this is to just share my enthusiasm for building computers, looking at individual parts, just all around any kind of tech. And I say computers because computers are going to be a big deal about it. Computers are going to be a big part of this channel because I enjoy building computers. The computers I'm using to record and to show these parts on, I've built myself. I enjoy it, and so I figured why not just do something that I enjoy doing. So for what we're going to be looking at today, I've put together a build for a $120 computer. Now, this is nothing special. I don't recommend this for anything because, well, a lot of it's outdated and you could get a lot better parts. I'm not going to say for the same price unless you start buying used parts, but anyways, let's just get into it. So, it's a $120 computer. The idea behind this was just getting a computer that can run. You know, I could have gone with a lot older Intel-based components and probably save some money, but I don't want it to be slow as dirt. Like, I don't want this thing to age as I age, you know, like, or run amount of the time that it takes me to age or show any kind of age. And what I mean by that is this runs off the AM1 socket. The AM1 socket, it's old, but it still works. Some people still use the AM1 socket to play games, some of the slower end games, and use it for web browsing, any kind of media content. So that's the kind of thing that it would be used for if this was to be built. I do plan on building this just out of shits and giggles because of the fact that it's ridiculous. It's something that I wouldn't really want to keep around, but I would do it anyways. So anyways, let's just start off. For the CPU, we have the AMD 2650. It's a dual-core processor on the AM1 socket for AMD. It's a dual-core. They don't have hyper-threading. So basically, it's what you see is what you get. It's clocked really low, so for this, gaming isn't going to be a big thing. Even watching HD video is going to be taxing on this CPU. For the motherboard, we went with an ASRock M1BM Micro ATX motherboard. ASRock is more of a cost-efficient brand. You know, they still have a lot of really good components. This is one of their more cost-efficient products. This motherboard doesn't have a lot of features, as you'll see when we get into it. So for the memory, we went with the Crucial 4GB DDR3 1600 megahertz memory stick. I could have gone with 8. It would have doubled the price and it would have gotten out of the $120 range. So for right now, just to get it up and running, the 4 gig stick would be more than enough for me, so I would be happy with that. For the storage, we went with a Western Digital Caviar Blue 160 gigabyte hard drive. It's not going to hold a lot. You know, your operating system is going to take up probably half of that, and then you might be able to get a movie or two on it and still have just a little bit of slack on the hard drive. But like I said, it's meant to just get up and run, and that's about it. For the case, we chose the Apex TX 381 Micro ATX mid-tower case. And it happens to also come with a 300 watt power supply, which is going to be sufficient enough. One of the good things about PC Power Picker is it shows you the wattage that this computer uses. So it only uses 109 watts. It shows you the total of the prices of these retailers. Altogether, it would be $115.46. It's not a lot. And you're not really getting a lot for the money either. So let's get into the individual components. and I just clicked off the one that I needed. So, as we get back to Newegg, I'm going to use Newegg for a lot of this because Newegg provides a lot of detailed information about the parts, and I trust Newegg. I've bought a lot of things off Newegg. So, for the processor, like I said, we have the AMD 2650. It's on their Sempron series CPUs. It's their Combini line. It's a dual-core processor, and it's clocked at 1.4 gigahertz. And it has it's based off the 28 nanometer architecture. That is the thickness of the heat spreader on the CPU that's able to dissipate heat. And this only generates 25 watts of power, or requires 25 watts of power. So it's very low power. For this, cooling it isn't going to be a problem. This thing is going to be really, really energy efficient, but then again, you're not going to be getting a lot for it either. And it has built-in graphics. It has Radeon HD 8240. I'm not going to be able to do any gaming on it. I mean, if you do solitaire, maybe. That's about it. So, to the motherboard, like I told you before, it's not going to have a lot of features. It's the ASRock AM1BM motherboard. It's a micro ATX motherboard. As you can see here, you get 4 USB 2.0 ports. You get 1 VGA port for video. You get 2 USB 3.0 ports. You get your gigabit LAN port. And you get standard audio ports. For the actual motherboard itself, you get a 4-pin CPU power connector. You only get 2 memory slots, so you can only put 2 DIMMs in. You have your regular 24-pin ATX power connector and 2 SATA 6 gigabit connectors, which is kind of a surprise because of the fact that this thing is old. I would have expected 3 gigabit SATA connectors, but I'm not complaining because that's not bad at all. You're getting a little bit of something. And then you get a PCI 2nd generation 16x slot, and then a PCI Express x1 slot. So you can throw in a video card, a sound card, something in there, and get a little bit of a boost, but I wouldn't expect too much. And something cool about it is you can see there's a CPU fan header, there's a power fan connector, and then you have 1 chassis fan connector, and I believe that is all I see on this. So for the RAM, it's nothing special, just a single DIMM of RAM. It's a 4 gig DIMM. It's clocked at 1600 megahertz. There's really nothing to say about it. The voltage, it's 1.5 volts, which means that it's going to use a little bit more power to get up to the frequency, but not a big deal. For the memory, went with the Western Digital Caviar Blue 160 gig SATA hard drive, and like I said, it'll hold your operating system and maybe a couple of movies. Nothing too special though, because it's only 160 gigs, and it's not even an SSD. It's a hard drive, so your reading and writing times are going to be a little bit slower. It's going to be just enough to get by. Now, this is one thing that a lot of people would say that is a bad choice, and that is the case with the power supply included. And the reason why is because when cases come with the power supply included, the manufacturer for the case cheaps out. They always get the cheapest power supply they can to throw in here, which is a bad idea because cheaper power supplies don't use quality components. Capacitors tend to go fairly quickly in them. And if a power supply goes, then you can possibly lose every component in your computer. Which, you could have spent $40 to get something that was good, but you decided to save money and buy a 2-in-1 deal like this, and now you're paying for it. But for this, because it fit the bill, I wouldn't really care. And the bad thing about this is, you see all these multicolored cables, it looks horrific. It's awful. It's not really worth it. But regardless, that is my $120 PC build. Something to make a note of, I didn't include an operating system, I didn't include a monitor, I did not include a mouse or a keyboard. Mouse and a keyboard, pay $10, you can get both. For a monitor, you can pay $8, you can get a 1366 by 768 resolution monitor. And the operating system, you can pay $29 to get Windows 10. If you know where to go, you can get them fairly cheap for brand new. But this was meant just to be the computer itself, nothing extra. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.